Hello?
Oh hi Doris, I am calling you to inform you some excellent news about Boris, and it's hard to believe that it was true, and Boris is safe and sound now.
Wow. Really?
Yes, really. He was possessed all along. The evil curse has been gone from him by the priests who came and took him down.
Oh my gosh. I cannot express how I really feel right now. I am so happy with you guys helping getting over with this. It feels great that Boris is now back to the way he is now. Thank you so much for doing this for not only me, but with Boris and the rest of our family. I cannot wait to inform the people in my family about it. Thank you, Mr. Gary.
No problem, Doris. We are here to always help people, because that is our jobs. But, Doris, there is one thing I need to discuss with you about, and I want you to do me a huge favor.
Okay. What is it then?
Well, this question will not only make me feel better, but it will make Boris's dreams come true. So, I'm asking you this right now. Doris, would you like to reunite with Boris again, and then be husband and wife again?
Well, I kind of feel like that in a way, but the killing he committed, but didn't really committed it. It just makes me feel like I'm still in a relationship with a murderer. So, I'm like 50-50 each from that. I love him, but I feel like that I shouldn't be coming back with him anymore. I'm sorry, sir. I just feel like that's my option.
Doris, just listen to me clearly. I understand how you feel about it, but Boris really wants you back so badly. You're like his missing jigsaw piece. But also, he wants to see his children too. He wants to reunite with you and the kids. He wants his life to be the way it was before, the way it was before this chaos happened. I beg you to come soon to see him. He's really emotional right now. Please, I want you to come down, please.
Okay. In fact, I will leave my apartment now, and I will get Caillou and Rosie to be ready for the journey. Thank you, Mr. Gary, for everything you did for me. I appreciate it. See you later then. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Excuse me, sir. Did you just inform the lady about Boris?
I sure did. It was through the phone. I can feel that she's been going through a lot as well, and she is completely puzzled if she would go back to Boris or not. And what really concerns me is that what happens if she chose not to be with Boris anymore, because Boris is an innocent man who has been labeled as a murderer. These crimes he committed wasn't his fault after all. Some fool was taking over his body and making him a bad influence to everybody in the world. I know I did some bad things to Boris, such as playing games with him and shouting at him at the top of my lungs. But I want to make this count to him. A big count to him.
I can sense the frustration here, but I'm with you on this one, of course, and I think many people here are on your side too. And us here, as a team, our mission now is trying to get Boris's life back to normal, but unfortunately, I don't think at least everything will be back the way it was.
No, not really. He will have to be in court, because killing is a big offense, and it would go on to his record, so he still would be classed as a murderer, sadly. Oh yeah, Doris will be coming on her way somewhere today this time, to reunite with Boris along with the kids. So, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I hope it's good.
Well, that's something good though. I really do agree that they should go back together, despite of what was going on for Boris for things that he really didn't commit it, you know. Anyways, I need to go back and do some paperwork. Catch you later.
Okay, I'll catch you later too.
Hey, Boris.
Doris.
I'm so glad you're okay, but I'm also here to give you a huge apology for what I have done to you. It was pretty bad of me to do that, and I'm here to say, I'm sorry.
Oh, Doris. You don't have to say sorry to me, you did the right thing. And besides, I could have done something bad to the family and then you decided to go very far away from me along with Caillou and Rosie for your own safety, without me knowing where you went. I got to say, you did the perfect thing for me. Well, not for me, but for Rosie, Caillou, and yourself. You should be proud of yourselves for it.
Wow. Thank you, Boris. Maybe I shouldn't felt bad for what I have done after all.
Mom, why feel bad about it? You've protected us from Dad being possessed. We would have been in danger with Dad and probably we would end up being killed. You did a great move, Mum.
Yeah, and the police officers gave us warning and so did the people around us too.
Well, yeah, the police teams and the community warned us about it so we would have enough time to escape before Boris would have gotten more evil and aggressive. But we are so glad this drama is officially over, and now, we're back into a happy family again.
Well, not quite, Doris, not quite. I'm still gonna be stuck here. For who knows how long. I hope it won't be super long because mostly all of these crimes that I committed, I didn't actually committed them. But I'm still scared if I'm gonna be here for nearly a lifetime.
No, you're not. Boris, no, you're not.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is that, if you didn't know, but the court session will be available next week on Monday, for Boris. You all must attend there because this is an important day for you all to come for. Especially that you are very well connected to Boris.
Oh, okay. We didn't know we were going to have a court session at all. Nobody told us.
I didn't know about that as well.
Well, now you do, but I would want to say is that Boris would not suffer with any consequences of what the judge gives him. I think he would probably get some suspensions, but I know for sure, since I've been working here for so long, he would not get sentenced to death, or be tortured, of behind the story.
Okay, I'm so glad about that. I was really scared of what was going to happen with me next. Even when you brought up court, I got really anxious even more. But I'm glad I'm not getting anything which including death or anything brutal.
Well, that was all I got to say, just for reminding you about that important day you all have to attend if you want to be in part of the court session with the judge. I expect you all to be there, so see you on that day. Goodbye and enjoy the rest of your evenings.
Breaking news. The night murderer, named Boris, is now attended at the city's courthouse right now, today. As you can see, behind me. I am behind the courthouse, along with some of the community, wanting to come into the courthouse, and the police guarding the front of the building, to prevent anyone coming in, except if they have a pass to go through. Currently, people are still being seated until the judge comes and speaks, but the main topic we really want to find out is, what will happen to Boris next? Will he be found guilty, or not guilty? Behind his story, he was possessed and didn't actually committed these crimes on purpose. So I am not really sure how that is going to work with him, but we will find out after the session at the courthouse. Will he be guilty, or not guilty? Stay tuned for more upcoming news. This is GNN News.
Man, I don't like the feeling of this.
Oh, don't worry about it, Boris. To be honest, on what I heard of you, I would think that you will be fine.
I agree too. And Boris, don't worry about anything. I would seriously doubt that you will be given a harsh punishment, such as maybe sentenced to death, or else. But I will count on you that you would do fine.
I really do wish Boris's dream comes true, of bringing his life back together again, despite of what happened. I wish I can speak to him right now, but I'm on the other side of the room, and I ain't supposed to leave my seat until this session is over.
I feel the same way, Mum. I feel like I should give him a big hug right now.
Everyone knows that I was possessed the whole time of these crimes I committed but didn't actually committed. It was someone taking control of my body when it was dark.
Can I have everyone's attention please, before we begin? Silence everyone. Thank you. So, we are all here today, to discuss about this gentleman, by the name of Boris. The gentleman who was a night prowler, taking innocent lives. Only murdering people when it was midnight. However, there was a dark secret behind of him, that it was hard for anyone to believe that it came true. A dark spirit took control of his body, positioning him into a bad state. He looked pale. His eyes were glowing red. An unnatural facial appearance. And his voice changes quickly. The neighborhood was in shock to hear a lost life. Especially his, or her friends and family, who are some members here to join today. Thank you for coming in.
Evening everyone. I'm Taylor. I was the twin sister of Rebecca. The girl who is the one was murdered by a sharp object at the park. Surprisingly, she had a complicated life, and so did I. Growing up wasn't easy. We were abandoned as babies, then got adopted by another family, who weren't so nice and respectful. And when we were 16, our foster parents fell out with us due to relationship complications. So me and my sister decided to move to another town here recently. And 3 months after we moved into a hotel flat, my sister was brutally murdered at the park. The next morning after her death, police came to my apartment door around 7 in the morning. I didn't expect to see a group of policemen at my door, and I was scared if I maybe committed a crime or something. But actually, they wanted to talk about my sister. And in fact, I didn't notice that my sister wasn't in my apartment because I thought she may be asleep in her other bedroom. But it turns out that she didn't came last night. And I was like, oh my god, what's going on? So the policeman just came out to me and said this. Excuse me there, do you know this girl? And he showed a picture of her, and I said yes. And I was like scared of what was going on here. But then, this moment changed my life completely. The officer said that Rebecca was murdered at the park last night, and she was just having fun with her friends partying at the club. And then she was found dead at the park. My life just flipped tables. I was crying my eyes out and screaming. The police officers calmed me down and tried to help me as possible to calm down. It was scary. It was very hard to believe. It felt like a joke. I didn't believe the officers first. But then they gave me her favorite red bandana and some graphic photos of Rebecca injured. That upsetted me even worse. But now, from the day that my sister passed away, I have to continue living my life alone after nearly 20 years of growing up with my sister, Rebecca. It feels hard to have a life changed where you've been so long with this person and being with them for your entire life, that they are no longer gonna be with you anymore. But now, I gave my sister faith and lots of love whilst she's in another place now. And I would like to thank her for being with me for so long. But all I wanted to say was, thank you for being an amazing sister to me. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mike, and this is my wife, Trisha.
Hello.
And we are the parents of Violet, the girl who was poisoned from her drink, along as she died with her boyfriend, but died from getting injected on the beach. But I have words to say to my beautiful and talented daughter, Violet. I would like to say thank you for being with us from the past 21 years. You are not just a daughter to us, you were inspiring, you made many friends through your educational years, helped your defenseless uncle when he was unable to walk and talk. We wouldn't have not enough time to talk about you much, but we have many things to say about you, despite it can go on forever.
Rest in peace, my beautiful angel. We will never forget you, and all of us will always bring love to you from the bottoms of our hearts. Sleep in peace. From your mother and father.
Hello everyone. My name is Jason. And I am the father of William. My son was murdered by getting lethal injected whilst taking a nap on the beach. Sadly, I am the only one who wanted to come up here is because my family are too nervous and emotional to come up here, so I did for them, and I did it for my son, William. And I'm also a single parent to my son and kids, because my wife died from a nut allergy 8 years ago. But I am a proud single dad to my 3 children. William was an amazing son. He always liked to play video games, he always likes to hang out with friends. He worked as a sales assistant at a mini-mart. Despite of what was going on for him from the last 2 years, he was gaining weight, and he liked taking gym classes. But there is many more things I would like to say to my son. Thank you for being in part of the family. I would never wanted a better son like you. You were handsome, funny, had good sense of humor, and a clever young man. Rest in peace, my friend.
Boris. Can you come to the stand, please? Boris, I just wanna ask you a few questions about your experience behind all of this. And you to tell me what happened.
Well, Judge, my story was pretty rough, as you may know it. I was possessed by my evil spirit of myself, and I was trapped in my own dream. I was trapped in a dark world, full of dead trees and abandoned buildings. I was very lost of here I was, but I was exploring the place. And I went to his laboratory, of his inventions left on. But however, when I explored his place even more, I bumped into someone, who was locked and trapped in a cell who was suffering in there. But it was actually my positive side of me, a part of someone of my mind. And luckily, I got him out, and he knew mostly all of the time of how to fix the solutions of being trapped. We found a secret cave and we found a treasure book that had some words. And that was exactly what we needed to do. And then, read the text clearly. Surprisingly, the book wasn't big at all, mostly all of the pages were blank and had nothing on them except of that one page. The text was very important, because it is his big weakness, and so then he was suffering, and then vanished. And, I'm now back to the world now.
Well, Boris, I don't know what to say about your story. That was got to be one of my most very extraordinary stories I ever heard in my life. You have been through a lot of what you were experiencing in that time.
I'm really sorry to bother you, my honor. But, can I share my thoughts about Boris, please?
Of course you can. Doris, go ahead.
I would like to start saying that, what I did for myself was wrong, at first, but then I realized it was the safest thing to do. Wrong, and, right, at the same time, by leaving my partner, and taking the kids, but protecting ourselves from him. But since Boris is now back to shape, he really now has to suffer the consequences, for the murder, and other crimes he didn't actually committed them at all in the first place.
Well, Doris, I know everything about his story. And yes, I do understand that you want life to be back together the way it was. But unfortunately, it may not happen exactly. We won't discuss this until we move on to a different topic.
All right then, sir, I understand.
Boris, you can now return to your seat.
Excuse me, Judge, can I whisper a question to you quickly?
What is he saying to him? I hope he is not manipulating the judge.
Well, that was what I was thinking during this session. That sounds to be the suitable idea that could give impact on him. You can return back to your seat. I will explain this straight away. And thank you for the advice.
No worries, sir.
Boris, I have decided what deserves you right. I have decided what could be beneficial for everyone, and including yourself. There can be a slight good news, but with a side of bad news of what's going to happen with you. But let's start with the good news. The good news is Boris is not sentenced to death. He will not be given a death penalty or a beating.
Oh my gosh, I don't believe it.
But there is a catch with the bad news for Boris. Is that Boris will not get bailed out of his stay. He would have to stay where he is now.
Excuse me, Judge, but how long is he staying there for?
6 years. But however, his lifestyle would be different compared to the other cellmates, such as staying in a healthier environment, with a tidy cell, no bad smells, with a clean mattress bed. That is the positive side of news towards that bad news. But the lucky news for him, he will be staying in a luxury cell which will be all organized for him. But a bit more added on to the bad news. He is not allowed to leave his own area. He must be stayed at his place at all times. He will be fed with better quality food than the standard cellmates. Any guests and families are welcome to see him and go into his cell with Boris's permission, because it's his own area. But the consequences to Boris if he tries to escape his area He will be sent back to his old cell, where it would be cold and uncomfortable, along with eating terrible food.
Sorry for butting in, Judge, but shouldn't there be a second choice for Boris? And yes, I understand we have to treat Boris differently. I am still married to Boris, even if I was bothering to divorce him, but I felt bad for not controlling my temper, and I want to see Boris's face every day as always. We have a son and daughter, and we need a man who has been a supportive parent and lover, and I don't like to feel like a single parent, whilst not seeing my husband very often just makes me down, and so our children feel the same way too. Judge, can you do me a favor? What about if Boris just comes back home with us, and he can be housebounded, as if our house was maybe treated as a little cell? If that was requested, he can just stay at home and don't leave the house, whilst the positive side he is in the right place of where he belongs to, us.
Okay, Doris, just to make this clear, if you are happy to bring back Boris, then you can have him. But for our services and rules, we have to follow, and the same goes to you. I can accept to allow this option to happen. But, once again, our impact may be across to you, Doris. So I'm going to say this to you before we can accept this offer. If you dare to break the rules, such as letting your husband go out to the public, you both will be sentenced to 13 years in prison, but not in a luxury cell. Are you sure that you're going to accept your own offer, and the consequence that may come by, if you broke any of the following laws?
I accept my decision. And I'm not only doing this for myself, I'm doing this for Caillou and Rosie. I want them to have a happier life as I try and make things work again. I just want the both of them to have better lives in the future, when they will be able to be independent, of having their own responsibility of taking care of themselves. So, I already said that I am taking this deal, Judge.
Okay, Doris, this decision has changed. Boris will attend to be housebounded at your home for 6 years. Case dismissed.
Doris, we need to have a private conversation now. In the staff room, please, along with your son and daughter.
Why do I need you to have a private chat with me? I know what I'm doing, thanks.
Doris, I only wanted a private conversation because of the plans that Boris would arrive at your house, and other information plans. Please follow me now. This will be quick.
Well, okay.
Doris, I understand how you're feeling right now, because of what was going on in the courtroom. But I am here to ask you things, not letting you down. Okay?
Okay, I'm glad you've said that. I just felt like just walking through the doors anyway and take my husband.
But Doris, I just want to discuss about this decision you've came across and then was accepted by the judge. I just want to discuss with you three about returning back Boris. I only want to talk to you all about our service and security of bringing a criminal into the public, and when Boris comes to your home.
Well, okay, I curiously didn't know what was going to happen with Boris, but okay, and I'm sorry for pulling a face.
No, it's okay. I understand that everything is all over the place for you, but Boris will attend at your house this later evening, such as maybe around 6 or 7 o'clock. But don't worry, he will be safe when he arrives at your house. He will be traveling in a police van with some of my crew and the guards. Does that sound great to you?
Yes. That sounds great. Well, thank you, Mr. Gary. I appreciate you for counting on us. You are a very supportive person. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. I'm always here to help. It's my job. That is what I like doing. Now, enjoy the rest of your evenings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I got to say, Boris was very glad to come back.
Well, I'm definitely am, sir. It feels great to be back to my real home.
I'm glad to hear. And Doris, did Mr. Gary talked about the offer and deal, despite the message of bringing Boris home?
Yes, I got his message, and understood.
Okay, great. So now I will leave you guys some peace and quiet, and enjoy the rest of your days. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome home, Boris. It is a good pleasure to come back to your home and joining back with your family again.
Yes, it sure is. My life really feels completed right now. At least I'm not always stuck alone in a cold stinking room anymore.
Oh, and speaking of smell, Boris, you really need to have a wash, not in a rude way, but you were staying in a filthy environment for a while. Please go and take a long shower or bath, and put on some clean clothes, would you? You've got some nice clean clothes on the side of your bed.
Wow, thank you, Doris. I have not been properly clean for a while, but I used the showers once near my cell, and they were terrible. But it will calm me down and I will be dirt-free, for good. Welcome home, Boris. Welcome home. Hey honey, are you looking for the original looking Boris? Let's go on a honeymoon somewhere, Doris.
Boris, I cannot do that.
What? Why not?
Boris, remember that deal I had to deal with the judge to prevent you going back to prison? I had to make an offer that the judge wanted by banning you to leave the house, and that will be going on for a long time. I believe the judge said, up to 6 years of doing this routine.
Oh yeah, 6 years, a very, very long time of being housebounded indeed. I remembered what he said. But hang on, how am I supposed to survive, besides just food and drink? I need sun, having the cool fresh air, and stuff.
Don't worry, Boris, you can have some sun and fresh air. By going to our back garden, you are allowed to go to the garden, but you're not allowed to cross over our front lawn.
But what about if I disguise as someone else and then I can go to public places, and we could have a honeymoon at a special diner
No,
somewhere?
Boris, were you listening to the conversation with me and the judge? He talked about the consequences if I let you leave the house, and if that happened, me and you will be sentenced for a very long time in jail. Even if we did it once in a short time, it wouldn't make a huge difference at all. I'm sorry that I had to put this out, Boris, but here is a thing you need to think wisely. Would you rather go back and live with your family, or go back to your stinking cell?
What? Staying here obviously, I hated it over there.
Exactly, Boris. I think you need to have some time for yourself, to get used to the change. I hope you understand of what I've explained to you. I will leave you some time out in our room to think about it through. But don't forget, we love you, Boris.
Don't worry, Boris, being here is way better than that stinking dump. Now, I feel like going to bed since I feel lightheaded, because today has been a very long and rough day for me.
Okay, Caillou, have a good day at school, even though you had some days off, but your teacher and principal understands it all, so don't worry. Oh, and did you say you were visiting Dora's house after school?
Yes, Mom. I'm visiting Dora after school.
Oh, okay, good to let me know, but anyways you need to start heading to school. Have a good day, Caillou, and I expect something good from you today.
Thanks, Mom.
And Rosie, since Caillou is off to school, and it is nearly 9 o'clock, I have gave you some math quiz sheets upstairs on your table, for you to improve your times table.
Yeah, I like doing those ones.
And, of course, Boris. You don't have to stay in all day, if you were bored. Go out in the backyard, and get some sun and fresh air into you.
Okay, I can do that. But still, I'm banned from going outside our land of our house.
Yes, that's right. That's what I said yesterday. Now go and have some fresh air for a little while. It will do you good.
Wow, Caillou. I'm impressed of how you made it so far, and I'm glad you are okay. Despite you haven't came to school for a while, I don't blame you for it. Surprisingly, I saw and heard of the Boris situation on national TV, and some of the locals and the officers who told me about him, that he didn't on purposely murdered people, he was possessed the whole time. and then managed to escape his trap, which blew up all over the news and especially our world. But I'm glad that you are safe, but not just you, but the family, and especially Boris, that he has to put up with all that misery that he didn't deserve. But surprisingly, I have no idea of how you seem to cope with that, and now, you are back in school with a good mood. You are very resilient, Caillou.
Thank you, miss. I'm glad I ain't in trouble when you invited me here.
Of course you are not going to be in trouble for doing that. You did it for your own safety reasons. The students that get into trouble is when they ditch school for no specific reasons, or they just don't want to come to school. But they can end up getting suspended, or expelled. Well, Caillou, thank you for coming into my office. Since it is now time for your break, you may leave.
Thank you, miss. Hey, Leo.
Oh hey Caillou, long time no see. I'm glad you're okay about your dad.
Yep, I'm fine. And so is my dad.
So, what is your dad doing now?
So many people have questioned me a lot about that so far today, but I will talk to you later about it. Since this story is pretty long and confusing to begin with.
Oh okay, to be honest, I don't mind if you want to talk about it or not, but that's fine. But hey, do you want me to show you some cute funny animal videos on my phone in the classroom? I know we used to watch them a while ago, but there are some new funnier ones.
Okay, sure, why not?
Oh hello. I didn't expect you two to come here today. Please, come in. Boris is upstairs.
Oh thank you, Doris. We just want to reunite with our son, since we found it out he wasn't found guilty of the crimes committed at the time.
Can we see Boris now, would you?
Yes you can, come into the living room, and I will bring him over to you. Boris, can you come downstairs please? You have some special guests who wants to see you.
Mom and Dad.
Boris. Oh my gosh, Boris, I still can't believe in real life you're still here. I love you so much, son. I really can't believe you've made it this far.
Agree indeed, and we're sorry you had to put up with this so far. You deserve everything you need that keeps you going.
Okay class, this is the last session of the day. We will be focusing on recycling. And we will be watching a short video about the history of different types of recycling. And then after we watch the video, you will be given a sheet of paper with questions about what was said in that clip. But don't worry everyone. There are only 5 questions on the sheet, and it doesn't matter if you don't know any of them. I just want you to just give a try and write some things down. This is not a test. This is kinda like a memory game. But once you've finished your sheets that I will be giving you right now, you can leave and go home early for today.
I'll get the door.
Hello, Dora. It's been a while since we last saw each other.
Caillou. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I finally got to see you. Come into the living room.
Oh my freaking gosh, I don't believe it. Caillou, you are okay. I watched the news about your father, and I wasn't sure if you, your mother and younger sister were okay. So, how is everything going for you then?
Yep, Dora's mum, I'm okay, and the rest of my family are, including Dad. He is just staying at home.
Well, that's good to hear. If your mother okay now? I just want to speak to her.
Yes, she's fine. She's not upset anymore.
Okay, that's great. I just want to check on her now. I'll leave you to some peace.
Let's go to my room and talk about stuff.
Sure thing, Dora.
Oh my gosh, Caillou. I thought you would never come back to me. I was very worried when you were away. I actually thought you were in danger. Or missing.
Well, actually, I wasn't really in a lot of danger, since my mom protected me and my sister by staying somewhere else. We were in a hotel, and kept it a secret from Dad by not telling him which area we were staying.
Oh my gosh. That was a clever move right there. I'm glad that idea worked and you and your family are safe.
Did you know the story about my dad? He was possessed by some sort of evil spirit that controlled him the whole time.
Yes, I already know about that, from the news, television, websites, and others.
Well, that was his story, and no, he lives with us. He is completely fine now. His battle is over now.
Oh, okay. That's good to know that he is fine now.
Oh my goodness, today has been a very long day to us. Surprisingly, it wasn't a long day leaving the house. It has been a long day for the amount of people I had talked to today, the amount of phone calls I was receiving, the amount of people who came in to see us, and this is already the first day of having you back, Boris, and we're already tired.
Well, I am tired too, Doris, but actually, to be honest, it has been great for me, and for you today. We have already started to rebuild relationships with other people, which makes me happy, and I feel like I'm back to place now, but not quite because I am still banned from leaving this house no matter what.
Well, to be honest, Boris, that was what you needed, and so did the other people. I'm glad that everything went well for you today, and that can bring a big smile on your face, but sadly, yes, you will be staying here and not be leaving because that was the deal.
But staying for a super long time, how can I even avoid my own boredom here? I can be bored here every day.
Well, Boris, in fact, I can try and help you with that. I can just plan mini events in the house, such as bringing friends over, or having mini parties or doing fun activities. And maybe we can do mini activities with me, or with the kids as well. Or I can get some items from the store for you to enjoy the rest of your days of avoiding feeling bored.
Well, okay, that might work out well, so I'll see how this goes.
Boris, today is the time you need to try and get yourself up. You've been laying here for half of the day.
The light is hurting my eyes.
Boris, I understand you are extremely bored, but I just wanted to check on you.
Doris, I just don't feel right. I feel very drowsy and tired. I am tired.
Boris, I do understand that you are not happy with me because I am being bossy to you, but you got to remember the dangers. Excuse me, Rosie and Caillou, can I just have a small chat with you two?
Yes, what is it?
Well, this is about your father. And the way he is behaving now, he doesn't seem to be engaging or communicating with us that often now. He just always stays upstairs on our bed. He just eats some snacks in the fridge, uses the bathroom, and then goes back to sleep. That's all he does at the moment. He also seems to communicate in a poor way. He seems that he lost his communication skills or something. But this is like a mind trap for him, and I don't know what to do about it. It's been, I think, about over 2 months, and it's gradually starting to get worse for him. It doesn't feel like he's being himself at all, and this is the first time in many years I ever seen your dad behave like that. He's normally in a good mood all the time. Now, he looks very miserable and down.
Well, me too. I've already known that Dad was already being different than the way he was before. He just feels like a different person now. He was never like this before at all. It is pretty weird to see him like this.
I agree, and it's pretty bothering to see him not being himself.
Maybe we should find someone to help us get Dad better.
I was thinking of passing it on to the officers to get help, not trouble, of course. But this is a problem. That is not just a problem to Boris, but it is affecting us as well. Hello there, I was wondering if I can speak to Mr. Gary.
Yes, you can. Follow me to his room. Sorry to bother you, Mr. Gary, but we have a guest here who wants to see you.
Okay, thanks, Benjamin. Doris, take a seat. And what brings you here?
Well, it's about Boris, obviously. But from the past few weeks staying in the house. Well, recently, his behavior is starting to be different.
What do you mean by his behavior is different?
Well, what I basically mean is that Boris is always drowsy every day now. He just always stays upstairs and sleeps. He only wakes up to get something in the fridge and using the bathroom, and that's about it. He doesn't even socialize with us. Even if he does, he speaks so slur and he heavily falls asleep very quickly. He rarely eats food. He rarely has a shower or bath. He rarely changes his clothes. He doesn't like to see bright things because it hurts his eyes, and he always daydreams daily. And I have not had seen that sort of behavior of Boris before ever in my life, and even on the first day we known each other. What concerns me the most is that, if our marriage and our relationships would be over soon, if he gets worser than he currently is, and I came here today to get some help because it was getting out of hand.
Well, Doris, I'm glad you came in today because of what you are experiencing at home at the moment. Is there anything that I can do to help you?
Well, I know this is not going to happen, but, for Boris, can we allow Boris to leave the home at least maybe once a week?
Oh wow, Doris, I am really not sure about that one. And to be honest, my job isn't actually controlling these sorts of cases. It's actually the judge, Austin. He makes the decisions. And it is a big thing to try and change something as is already been agreed and cleared. But, I don't think he would ever agree to that offer you've made.
Well, can you contact him? Because I want to speak to him.
Hang on, Doris. We can't just go straight ahead and just say let's contact him. He is a very busy gentleman, and he keeps his time precious. He doesn't like to waste time with things like changing things up which has already been planned and should not be changed. And please do not give me that look and attitude, please.
I'm sorry about that, but what is currently going on with my and the rest of the family is really heartbreaking. And I wish there was a plan B or something for Boris. I just wish he can at least just go out into the public at least once a week max.
Well, okay. You can say what you want, and I can do you a favor. What about we plan a meeting with the Judge Austin, when he has time? Which maybe would happen in the next few days.
Oh, okay. That sounds good to me. At least I am looking forward to that.
Okay, great. And I will call you whenever the meeting is planned for you. Are you happy now?
Yes, I am. Thank you, sir.
No problem, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
So, once again, this is still going to be a discussion about Boris, and thanks for everybody else for joining in. I didn't want your children to come here, Doris, due to a lot of personal conversations which is only just for you and us.
I understand.
So, Doris, you wanted a deal to be changed, because you couldn't handle Boris's health in a poor state, is that correct?
Yes, it's right.
Okay, and you wanted Boris to be open to the community, such as being able to leave his home, but only at least once a week.
Yep, that is what I came up with.
Well, there's absolutely nothing that I can't do about this, and this is all I got to say to you, Doris, since everything has already been agreed and accepted. I can't just rechange the agreements, Doris. This meeting was pretty pointless, and it already has been a minute.
Huh, what makes this meeting pointless? I want my offer to happen.
Doris, I don't accept that sort of attitude towards me. Once something is over and done with, it's done.
Well, not exactly. You can still rechange them around. There is a way that you can make this happen to me, and I know for sure you can do it, and so everybody else.
Well, however, Doris, you need to listen to me clearly on this one. I am not always 100% choosing. I listen to the community, the citizens, and the team here to give their opinions and decisions. It's not always guaranteed that as always me with everything. But, since his story is very, very different compared to the other killers I know, he would still able to do the things he wants to do. I can help you right now, Doris, actually. But I don't know how can I make this fair for all of the communities. Think about the families who lost their loved ones during their tragedies. We never allow to skip murder cases like this. They would not allow your offer to happen, and we have to strictly agree with them. So, it's pretty hard situation.
Well, even if it's a hard situation, There is a possibility that we can solve through this, and we can find out easily of what people in the public and communities can decide.
And what exactly do you mean, Doris?
Well, like setting up a petition or vote for Boris. We can open up a vote page that gives you two choices that if Boris deserves to have this choice or stay the way he is now, people can just vote for one of them on a voting website, and optional, they can add a comment about their opinions of reasons why voting for whichever they chose.
To be honest, Doris, that actually sounds like a great idea. But, only one thing, what happens if the people that can't get access to the internet, or doesn't prefer to use the internet, how can they vote?
Well, I can plan this petition at the polling place if I give them permission if it's alright, but they can vote in there. I know it's normally used for politics and stuff, but there is another for people who don't prefer using the internet. They can vote in there very easily.
Ah, okay.
Well, Doris, that does sound like a good idea. But there is one thing you really need to think about, is the people who came to say their words to their lost ones. How can we make it fairer for the people that lost their loved ones? It doesn't seem to be fair for them. You cannot avoid the murder, Doris.
Well, I am already aware of that. And yes, we do not want those people to be upset even more. But for their wishes, they wanted Boris to be sentenced and stay somewhere, which is the victims' positive news, but this is something that I need to sort out right now, because Boris's mental state is completely got worse from the last few weeks.
Well, it's probably actually that Boris hasn't got the resilience to cope of being trapped in his area. You know that many prisoners are still be able to be trapped for many years, and they get used to it, and then it's solved.
But this man, who did not commit these crimes at all, I've said this a million times to everybody. He needs to have a chance for himself. It's because of some stupid idiot that took over his body and make him suffer like this. I am putting my foot down right now, and I want everything to work out better for Boris.
I understand that, Doris, already, and to be honest with you, I'm not disappointed or disgusted with Boris. He is nice, wonderful man, but we need to make what is right for the people who lost their loved ones and their deaths that gives Boris a side punishment. But that idea you made up seems to be very equal and fair for the people and Boris himself.
Well, yeah, we are not saying that your ideas are terrible. I think they sound very fair. But that is a problem that can't really be solved very easily, but there might be possibility that we can contact all the victims' families, and then asking them if this is an acceptable offer.
Well, that's actually my job, sending and responding to phone calls, so I can help with that.
Well, okay, you can do that.
Well, I've got to say, that sounds to be another good idea, to find out if the victims would accept the option, and then everything would be sorted when we find out. But if they say no, does that mean that Boris would not get his freedom?
Yep, if they all say no for it, and say no about the petition you are planning to do, then, unfortunately, yes, Boris can't get his freedom early.
Well, okay, I guess that I have to accept that deal. Because there are no other ways of doing it, but I can accept that.
Oh yeah, and Doris, I will let you know about their opinions and their decisions of what they said on the phone about the plan.
Well, thank you.
Doris, we wish you best of luck.
Well, thanks for that too.
Okay, this seems like this meeting is over and done. Thanks for everyone for coming in, and especially for Doris too. My time here was worth it. And enjoy the rest of your evenings.
So man, how did it go?
Well, good actually, but it's not completely been sorted the way I wanted it to be. I am going to have another meeting there someone, but this time, the people that are going to be there are the victims' families. And I feel really anxious about it.
Oh my, I don't like the sound of that.
I know, Rosie, and what's really concerning is that I know for sure that the people would disagree with me that your father should never have a chance of freedom, and he will be stuck like this and including ourselves unsettled for a couple of years. I can imagine your father in many years trapped. He would be a fully different person. I am really worried if this is not working for us.
I'm guessing they are really going to say no for that one.
Well, I got the feeling of that too, caillou. I think there is no way that they can agree with me on this one. But I got the meeting soon if I get the phone call, and I will see how this would go. Hello?
Oh, hello Doris. I'm calling to inform you some important news. Luckily, you didn't ignore the phone call, but one of the victims' families are at the meeting room right now. And I do apologize that I gave you less notice about it. Are you still available to attend?
Oh yes, I am. I can attend. That's alright, that you didn't give me enough notice. I'll arrive there shortly in roughly 10 minutes.
Okay, great. Also, this can be your chance to get what you want for yourself and Boris. I wish you the best of luck in the meeting, and see how it goes, and what everyone has to say.
Well, thank you. I will arrive shortly and getting ready now. Thanks for letting me know. See you later. Bye.
Okay, that's great. Goodbye and see you later.
Thank you everyone for coming in today. I know some of you would think this meeting is pointless, and everything has already been sorted, and I know you all would totally disagree with everything that I'm going to say, since the tragedies of your loved ones, and I really do feel all of your feelings when you lost someone very important, and I'm not just saying that, I really do feel each of you. But what I am trying to say is, which may start an argument here, but please let me finish from the start to the end, and then you can give me your feedback. Well then, let's begin. I want to start off by saying that Boris was possessed the whole time. Someone took control of his body and mind to do very bad things, which he was trying to get Boris into very deep trouble and ruin his life. And I had to run away from Boris with my kids to go to an apartment, and not letting Boris know where. But the reason in the first place, he kept lying to me many times by going out at midnight, and says he didn't do that. And I thought he could have been cheating on me or something, so I have enough of his stupid games, so I decided to leave him and take the kids. I took the kids just to protect them because Boris was not being himself at all. But then a little while later, the police came to contact me and had to visit a meeting after the phone call, and the police showed a footage of my husband murdering. It was very hard to believe that I was married to a murderer. I was crying my eyes out and I was devastated. But around like 2 or 3 weeks later, the police contacted me that Boris was possessed in his cell, that he had red eyes and his voice sounded like a completely different person. So that is the story so far, since mostly all of you would know the rest. But we're back together now and remarried, and we've been married for nearly 15 years. And recently, Boris has been not very well. He just keeps staying in our bed and rarely ever gets up and comes down with us. And to him, he feels like a different person to us, because I think the reason behind of him being stuck at home is me, because I keep bossing him around every day about what he should do, and I am rarely bossy to Boris, but now I have to do it every day non-stop and it is stressful, and no one likes to get told what to do all the time, which I believe is affecting our marriage. We rarely ever talk to each other, and we used to be very bubbly every day, and that is why I am here today, is to try and sort this out for Boris. I just want his life to be back to normal, but everything cannot be the same as before. But the main question is to you four, can Boris at least get little bit of freedom of going outside, such as maybe at least go out once a week?
Well, I am not sure about that. I mean, even though he didn't do it on purpose, but we lost someone very important in our lives, which we will never get over with it, ever.
Yes, I do agree. But I do understand that you want your husband to have a little bit of freedom, but he killed our daughter. And I do not know if this is an acceptable offer for him, but he didn't actually kill our daughter on purposely, it was someone else, but that can be a positive side that there might be a chance for his freedom.
Yes, and I know this sounds strange, but we have been thinking through this that it is not Boris's fault at all for killing our daughter. Someone else killed our daughter, but used his body to block out the trouble and puts Boris into the blame for all of this. So, Doris, since your husband hasn't did the murdering on purpose, he could have a chance.
Well, even though I hate your husband, but the hate has been caused by the death of my son by crazy spirit that gave Boris my hate of opinion. So, I just lost my son by your husband. But it was someone behind him who used Boris's body. But you're saying that he is never like this in real life. Well, if he's innocent man that never causes trouble or has got a criminal record in the past, then I guess he may have a little chance. But I am doing what is right for my dead son. I always still do everything for him, despite that he gone to a different place.
Our mindsets just feel the same. hating Boris with a burning passion, or hating the person who was mind-controlling Boris. It's hard for me to pick which one to fully blame on for killing my sister.
Don't worry guys, I really do understand that you are confused to either like or hate Boris. I know people that get possessed always get put into the very bad positions, especially ending people's lives, in a brutal way. And I am so sorry for that I positioned you all into this and experience losing someone important.
Excuse me, you know it's not your fault. Or your husband's fault at all.
Huh, do you really mean it?
Yes I do. In fact, I have no idea why this is your fault at all. You ran away to protect yourself, because you could have gotten into danger. And, it's not your husband's fault either. I know people in this room is feeling like, are you stupid or something? No, I am not stupid. This man didn't deserve any grief he had to put up with.
Well, I have to agree on that too, that he didn't on purposely murder people including our daughter Violet.
But listen up guys, he killed my beautiful sister. How can we even let him get away big time for this? We can't just forget and let him have a chance over this. I mean, yes he was possessed, and it wasn't his fault, and I believe in spirits and ghosts, and I am not saying that everything is a lie. Such as he was not possessed at all. But what I really want is, and I know I sound like a terrible person for saying this, but he should not have a big chance over this, such as ending his long suspension.
Well, I don't want to end his suspension either, but I think he needs to have a chance of what he wants, except ending his suspension of being trapped.
Well, okay, I guess. It does sound fair, since it wasn't his fault completely, but I guess to agree that he can have a little chance for his life to have a little bit of freedom, as long as he is no longer possessed.
Everyone, I enjoy listening to all of your opinions and speeches, but what concerns me the most is your decision-making, and all I really want today is answers. And the answers from each of you four. Can Boris be allowed to be out in the community for at least once a week?
Yes, he can.
Yes.
What I heard about the story behind him, he should have a chance of that. So, yes.
Well, I kinda have to agree of what he just said, so, I guess.
I don't believe this. I have more words to say, better than being thankful. Now I just feel like crying tears of joy right now.
Oh, it's okay, Doris. Cry as much as you need to.
Hey everyone, I'm back with some excellent news for you all, especially Boris.
What is it, Mom?
Well, this is about what happened at the meeting today, about what is going to happen with your father. Oh wait, your father is not coming down here because he still thinks that I keep being too bossy on him about things. Well, I will tell him after I told you to everything. So anyways, I have had a meeting with the victims' families. And it was a long meeting indeed, and just ago I was actually crying, in a good way, that it was hard to believe that the people allowed my ideal option to happen, and now, your father can leave his house, for only once a week. Isn't that great? I mean, one is better than nothing, right? And he will be able to go out as long as he wants for only one optional day. He can choose to go out, but, unfortunately, he can't go on his own to the public. He has to go with me, because we are together, and your father might get a little bit carried away of exploring the town, and once he had chose a day to leave the house for the day, he will have to wait until next week, starting from Monday to Sunday. Boris. Boris, I know that you are listening to me, and I understand that what you're going through to behave like this. Well, this time, you should not really ignore what I'm going to say because there is good excellent news for you, especially you will be able to leave the house.
Wait, did you just say I can leave the house?
Yes, for sure you did hear me clearly what I just said that. You will be able to leave the house instead staying indoors all the time.
Yeah, I can leave my house now. Thank you, Doris.
Boris. I ain't finished explaining yet. but I went to the meeting today along with the victims' families, what I told you very early in the morning if you remembered. But yes, you can go out of the house, but one more thing, they can allow you to at least go out for once a week, from a day from Monday to Friday as long as you want for the day, but I have to go with you because that was the deal they had to come up with, including myself. You can't go on your own, Boris, in public. I'm sorry?
Well, I got to say, one day is better than nothing. And with that one day per week of any day, me, you, Rosie and Caillou, can make our once a week day very special and worth it, such as maybe spend half a day somewhere, like going to a theme park, or have maybe a special dinner out somewhere.
Well, I got to say, I am very happy that you are happy too. I thought you would be still mad, but okay, as long as you are still happy about that, I don't need to worry about it now. So Boris, since I told you the change, do you want to go out to a honeymoon somewhere or something else, if that was what you wanted?
Well, yes, Doris, but I don't feel great for today, but maybe when I am recovered by maybe tomorrow or the day after that, I can just keep myself on track of preventing myself of being too drowsy and lazy, and be more physical.
Well, okay, that's fine with me. But remember, you need to leave the house before the end of Sunday, or else you could lose your bonus day. Do you understand?
Yes, I do understand that, Doris. And I have to make sure my timing goes right, or else I could miss a special day.
Great. Well, I'll catch you later, but do still please let me know as soon as possible, okay?
Okay, Doris.
Breaking news, a few weeks ago, of the last time of the news of Boris, also known as the night murderer, his punishments have been changed, which were used to be just being trapped at his home, as a cell punishment that had been agreed on by the judge weeks ago. But now, the rules have been changed for Boris, by now that he can leave the house only once a week, as the crimes that have been involved which he didn't on purposely committed, and people agreed he deserved something better. But how this option came up was from the wife of Boris by the name of Doris, who has brought the idea up and had many meetings about what can go better for Boris. She has the meeting with the officers, professionals, and even the judge, and she recently met the victims' families to explain how the situation could go well for Boris, and surprisingly, they all agreed and allowed this option to happen. So now the offers have been changed for now on for Boris and for everyone in this town and city. Many people have been concerned recently of why it has been changed, and mostly people answered, is they stupid to make silly choices to let Boris get away? But the meetings that were going on were meant to be private and not being spreaded onto the news by recording the whole footage of discussion. Which we do apologize. But for more information, go to our news website for more details about this topic. So, this is GNN News, signing off.
You see that, Rosie? We did it. Well, Mom did it very well. She deserved all the credit for helping Dad and working hard.
Yes, I agree. All the credit goes to Mom for all the work she's done to help.
Excuse me, the both of you, can I just speak to you about something quickly?
We just watched the news talking about Dad.
Yes, Caillou, I saw it right over here, and it's great now that mostly people would now be alerted of what's going on. Anyways, I came down here because I just want to speak with you about your father, and don't worry, it isn't anything to worry about, it's going to be nice.
Oh, okay, what's that?
Well, actually, this is meant to be a secret for your father. Do you both promise you won't tell your father of what I've just said?
I promise not saying anything to Dad.
I pinky promise not to tell as well.
Okay, great. Well, where should I start? Oh yes, I was planning a special surprise secret to your father by organizing a welcome back party with all of our friends and families, at a restaurant, or organize at a nicer area where we can do party activities and fun things we can do with everybody that is invited. How does that sound to you?
Hey, that actually sounds like a great idea. It would show that people care about him. And it would probably make him feel better in a mood again.
Yes, let's do that.
Well, there is a problem. Your father wants to go out like someone around tomorrow, and I don't even have enough time to organize everything, and I don't want to wait a week later, and plus the place that I'm fancying to choose has a booking offer only this week, and I need to get my timing right for Boris without him knowing, and give the people who I'm inviting some warning about if they would attend there. So, I really need to try and organize this special event for Boris before Monday starts.
So, hang on Mom, why not just tell Dad to change the days he wants to go out? So that way you get enough time to organize what you need to do. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh yes, good idea, Caillou. In fact, I'll get over with this now with him. Hey Boris, there's something I need to tell you.
And what is that?
Well, you know you wanted to go out tomorrow. Well, it is going to be freezing cold and rainy tomorrow and the day after that, but the third day would be warm and sunny, and that way, we can spend a day together as a family of doing many activities such as maybe go on a boat, or do fun games outside, in a private area for us as a family. And in fact, I can book a private honeymoon or party room alike, which it would be just the 4 of us. Does that sound wonderful to you?
Well, Doris, that sounds like how this can made my day. But does that mean I have to stay here and don't leave for the next 2 days?
Yes, sadly, Boris. But it will be worth your wait, I'll promise you right now. This day would give you in such a great mood.
Oh, Doris, don't worry, this sounds pretty worth it to me for the wait, and I am starting to feel much better and happier now that I don't feel trapped anymore. Thank you for letting me about that, Doris. This is something that is so bubbly about. Thank you.
No problem, Boris. And now if you excuse me, I'm going to start booking it off the internet and prepare what's needed. Oops, gotta get the phone. Hello?
Oh hello Doris once again, I'm here to give you some great news. And also, this is a quick phone call for you because I've still got some business work to do, and this would be short.
Okay, what's that?
Well, it's a message I got from the judge that I need to pass this on to you. It's about the given consequences.
Okay.
Well, good news, you don't have to worry about getting sentenced for a long time anymore.
Huh, what do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying that your consequences are over now, and you don't need to worry about getting sentenced for a long time of what I just said right now ago.
Oh my gosh, that's great. So does that mean I don't have any more consequences now? Like, nothing.
Well, I was about to add this part into you, but yes, but it's not really a big deal to be honest, and it doesn't feel that harsh at all. But basically, it's just paying about $100 fine if you disobeyed the rules, such as letting your husband go out than more than once per week. I'm sorry about this, Doris, but you still have consequences, but not the extreme ones such as getting sentenced for a long time.
Well, okay, that doesn't sound really bad at all. I really do prefer that deal though of paying a fine than getting me and my husband sentenced and making our family be bad. But I have to say, thank you for informing me, and please pass the thank you message to the judge for changing this around for me. I never expected him to do this for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're happy. But, apologies if this sounds a bit rude, but I have to get back to work. And I want you to enjoy your own lives together, happily.
Alright, no problem. I'll see you whenever you want to speak to us. And enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Doris. Goodbye.
Sorry to bother you, sir, but you have to quickly do an email for me, because there is going to be a disconnection with the internet in the next 2 hours. I apologize.
No, don't worry, it's fine. I've just finished a phone call in time before you came in, so I'll do that right away now, sir.
Well, where was I? Oh yeah, I was about to book a place, but first, I kind of feel like writing a list of people down of who can be invited to the celebration party. Well, Boris, this is our bookroom door. Open it for yourself.
Okay, Doris.
Surprise!
Oh my gosh, I don't believe it. What's going on?
Well, Boris, you see, I wanted to plan a special secret for you that you totally deserve of what you've been through by inviting our family and friends over to welcome you back. I also planned this celebration for welcoming back to the family, and I wanted you to feel better about yourself than feeling very down and stressed. So, how do you feel now?
I feel very much better now, and to be honest, this makes my day very much than I was expecting, just a random day of usual spending time. Thank you, Dora, so much for organizing this. This was the thing that I really needed, was to fit and back to the people that I cared.
Oh, Boris, that's so sweet of you.
Oh, and Mr. Hinkle is here. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing?
It's a good pleasure to see you, Boris, and I am doing well, thank you for asking, and I am glad you're back.
And the Marquez family is here too.
Hello Boris, it's wonderful to see you back to your feet again. And I'm glad to hear you have recovered from what you've been through, like bumpy journeys on a boat.
Well, it's great to see you, Elena, as well.
Well, not trying to be rude, but why not we start the day by doing fun activities like playing a game of Twister?
Oh come on, really, Doris, you picked a game which hurts my aching bones.
Oh come on Boris, you're a big boy now.
That's my big boy too. Boris, I have no other words to be thankful of what you've accomplished. Hopefully one day we could meet again. You are a hero. You are a strong hero. Oh, and there is one more thing you should know. I love you. Sleep in peaceful happiness, my proud friend.